All right, all right, all right. It is Craig Harris, and we're back. We're back with a redo, part 2. Apparently, the stream froze, so I restarted the stream. Kratos to join us. All right, there he is. So,
man, it's back.
Yeah, so I'm not for sure what happened, but they said the stream was freezing, and so we'll just have to go ahead and see what. I don't know if it's something going on this end or something like that. So
no, we were just speaking too many facts. That's all it was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. So hopefully they rejoin us, and if not, I get it. So, but yeah, it was acting weird. I was trying to type some stuff in, and then all of a sudden it was just acting weird. But anyway. So sorry, you guys. That happened. It is what it is, unfortunately. So So there's Trey BK. He was able to make it back. So yeah. So all right then. But continue what you were saying. That the stream couldn't handle the 6K talks with Ryan just said. So yeah, go ahead as far as what you were saying as constant reach. And yeah, I checked on Twitter, and there are people literally going with this story. So go ahead.
I'm telling guys, why can't they just wait and see what this thing can actually do? Stop listening to these crazy folks and some of these devs just saying stuff, because at the end of the day, stating things can run 6K when obviously there's a crap load of games that can't even hit 4K native. You have to use checkerboard and dynamic resolution at 30 frames per second. That is more telling. The power of a console is about the average games that it has and how it runs. It's not about, that one game. For example, let's look at Forza. Forza has ran, freaking 1080p 60 frames on the Xbox One all day long. So that's a given. So guess what? On a next gen platform or something more powerful, it should be able to hit 4K 60 without a problem. That's that's not the average of what the games are running. It seems like now the average of what the game's going to run is checkerboard, 4K, 30 frames per second. There's going to be some games that'll do native 4K 60. There's going to be some games that won't. It's just like the PlayStation 4 Pro. It's about getting a 4K experience at $400 and $500. That's what it is. But the problem is these guys have hyped this system up to be the PC killer, where you don't need a PC. You can spend $500 and get 4K 60 on every game, any and every 4K textures and everything else. This is what was hyped for the last 2 years. Now guys are starting to get amnesia. Oh, Microsoft never said that. Such and such never said it. No, you guys said that. You guys have been saying that for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna get amnesia and act like nobody ever said this. Oh, show me the article. I never seen it. Duh, we told you that in the beginning. We told you that 2 years ago. You guys have hyped that up. And I tell you what, you guys have hyped it up, and Microsoft let you hype it up. They kept egging you on. And now reality sets in, and this thing is basically a tad bit more powerful PlayStation 4 Pro that's giving you the same games at the same resolution and the same frames.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really hurting them. Which again, I think we can both pat ourselves on the back, because me and Kratos tried to tell everybody that's in the chat, and Cycle Gamer and Widowmaker, who, by the way, Widowmaker is okay. We did talk the other day in the I think he was in the chat. We were talking about vibranium and animanium and stuff like that. So it's just fine. That's fine. But he is alive. He made it through. But trying to explain to them what these upscaling is going to do. That's why I did the whole podcast on QHD and all that kind of stuff, and 1440p being upscale. But we tried to tell them exactly what, we educated guests, but we tried to tell them what you said it yourself. Most of their games are going to be sparse rendered. I mean,
Exactly.
and that's what they're getting. Now, that doesn't mean it's bad. You know, we always caveated it with bad, but I think everybody needs to give Kratos a round of applause because we sat here and told you people what they were going to do. That's why when they unveiled it with Digital Foundry, and shout out to Cal Berg, I did tweet him direct message and said, I'm underwhelmed. But that's, you know,
exactly.
You know, because if your first party dev is able to get that on a driving game, which I think is fine, you know, the third party guys are not going to follow suit. They're going to always code to the lowest denominator, which in this case, amongst the Xbox, is the Xbox One. Not, you know, whether it be the Xbox One or the Elite or the Xbox One S, they're going to code to that. And a developer actually told me that. He works at Oracle. He said that's the way it's always been. You got you got games that are like, they have DDR4 and stuff like that. They're still going to use DDR3 code, you know, because that's what's out mostly. Most everybody has DDR3. So, but that was you all's fault. And I'm talking about the people who didn't listen, because there was a bunch of you all that did listen. But we are not going to come on here and just lie to you guys. It's just, I mean, now, I know last podcast when I was talking about Mass Effect, I did say Erdnot Grunt was in I think it was talking about Mass Effect 1. And I was wrong about that, but I literally within the hour after the podcast came into my own chat and said, I made a mistake. I meant Erdnot Grunt. So I'm not going to have people come on the show and then lie to the people that are actually subbed. That doesn't do me any good. It doesn't do the guest any good. We will tell you when we are speculating versus taking what we call a deductive look at what's going on. So speaking of that, something else we deduced about, 6 or 8 weeks ago, was that there was going to be a PlayStation 5, and this afternoon, somebody named Sean Layton,
executive for Sony.
Confirmed it, and also said it was going to be a generational leap, which we sat right here and told you all that's what they were going to do. But yet and still, you had Jack Reacher trying to tell you all, no, they're not going to do this. They can't do this. When Digital Foundry even said we talked to these guys. So what else is there that we can bring? You know, what else is there? And I'm telling you right now, it's going to have a Vega CPU or Ryzen, and shout out to, I think Sean Landis said last week that, I'm sorry, not Sean, Ryan in the chat there said that Ryzen and Vega are separate. I thought it was the same damn thing. But let me ask you.
CPU and GPU.
Yeah. But let me ask you, since we were probably right, now let's just go over briefly what we think. Since they confirmed they're going to do a PS5, and we both said 2019 will be probably when they announce, and 2020 is when we get it probably. That's flat speculation. But let's do some deductive reasoning here, Sherlock Holmes and Watson style. What do you feel it's going to have on it? If it's going to be a true generational leap from Polaris?
You know what? Right now, I think, you know, if the PlayStation 4 Pro is 4.2 teraflops, I think a generational leap would probably be somewhere in the 9 to 10 teraflop range. You have to look at the highest teraflop consumer card that you have right now. You know, not any of the dual GPU cards that are like 16 and 18 teraflops, but the single GPU cards. And there's somewhere, I think a 1080 Ti is somewhere in the 10 to 11 teraflop range. Maybe I'm just throwing it out there. That's for you guys who have that card and know exactly what the count is. Something on that level, I think, would suffice. And keep in mind, this in a closed format, this should be enough to hit 4K 60 on all games. And here's another thing. What if we get a PlayStation 5? And what if they do use some checkerboard rendering or dynamic resolution at 60 frames or whatever? We have to have this conversation about, is that really bad? From what I saw and from what all of us saw at E3, They showed a game called God of War.
Yeah.
And that game was jaw-droppingly gorgeous. And come to find out, that thing was running on the original PlayStation 4. Not the Pro, not 4.2 teraflops, but 1.86 teraflops. So if we're getting graphics and quality artistry at that level, imagine if they started creating games specifically for the Pro or for a PlayStation, 5 level. I don't see how much better they could have. Spider-Man, the game was, pretty much photorealistic from the gameplay and the graphics that they showed me. And that was announced running on the Pro. Yeah. I can't come up with this concept of how they can possibly make their games that much better, because Sony already has the Naughty Dogs and the Guerrilla Games and, the Insomniac, all of these, incredible studios that actually shows you it's not about the power, but it's more about the artistry and the quality of the game that they can bring you.
Yeah, now let's talk about, because several people mentioned that Sony or Digital Foundry. Of course, I don't care what Digital Foundry says. I have better things to do to care what two Scottish bisexuals think about gaming. I mean, I just don't. So because they're not in my ear when I make my purchases. That's why. But Spider-Man, Digital Foundry did get their hands on the Spider-Man build that we all, we saw. They told us the TV, it was running on the, I think the XDT Sony, which is one of their
Z9D. Yeah, the Z9D.
That's one of their top 10 or top 5 TVs. So, but it is using temporal injection according to Digital Foundry. So, can you explain in layman terms what temporal injection does?
Basically smooths out any jagged edges, and it basically copies the pixels and where it sees fit. So basically, it's 4K. It's not checkerboarded, but it is a 4K image. If you look at what they did with what's the game, the Ratchet and Clank. Right. If you play that on the PlayStation 4 Pro, that game is like a Pixar movie. And I don't think anyone would doubt that. So if you see how gorgeous that game looked, you can imagine what a game like Spider-Man is going to look running on the Pro on your TV. It's, again, I don't care what technique they use. The mere fact that I'm able to be satisfied when I see that game and when I play that game, knowing that there is nothing like it on the PC, there's nothing like it on the competitor's platform that could come close, I think is enough to drop the mic on. We can go back and forth all day on checkerboard, dynamic, native, temporal injection, and all these other techniques that they use to make an image beautiful on the screen. This is what they should be doing. They should make these $300, $400, and $200 consoles run the best that they possibly can under whatever technique they can. Do I really care that the Xbox One X doesn't do native 4K 60 anything? No, I don't. I know I'm only spending $500 on a console. Do I really expect that to wipe out my gaming rig that I have? No, I don't. But it's the mere fact that some people can't comprehend, and they won't come to terms that they will never get a piece of hardware that will outdo a PC for the cheap cost of $300, $400, or $500. And that's just a fact. I think until people come to terms with that, we will always have these so-called fanboy wars and these jack reachers out here.
Yeah, what's the Spider-Man build? It was confirmed was HDR. It's using a checkerboard. Now, at the 120 mark, this is for people who don't want to believe me, that's fine. At the 120 mark, they say, quote, it holds up nicely. And what they're looking at is softness versus sharpness. So they literally would, through the checkerboard and through the temporal injection, I guess it's going to really simulate 4K. 4K. And for all you people who don't know, if this was a Microsoft game, it would be considered true 4K.
Facts.
So because it's using the checkerboard. So
Facts.
I mean, that's just the way it is, you know. So they've but yeah, somebody just in the chat want to know. All right, I think the PS5 again. This is just my opinion on PS5. I think you either see Vega and Ryzen in it because that's the next generation from where we're at, and 8 to 10 T flops because that's what Mark Cerny has been quoted as saying. So
take a look at this, Craig. Okay, Ryzen is out right now.
Yeah.
You have the stuff. It's out right now. It's on the store shelves. So you have to ask yourself, okay, if Sony, it depends on when Sony's planning on releasing this thing. Obviously, they're going to want the latest CPU and the latest GPU out at that time. I don't think the PlayStation 5 is going to drop until Sony see their sales starting to drop and taper off. And I think that's gonna. It depends on how the Xbox One X does. It's going to depend on the Switch, and it's just going to depend. When the PlayStation 4 dropped, there were people still buying PlayStation 3s. Before the PlayStation 2 came out, you still had people buying PlayStation 2s. I think Sony will wait at the last minute before they, release this thing, and before they probably even announce it. I'm still calling it Scorpio, maybe because we've been calling it Scorpio for so long. But if the One X picks up steam and it does do well and it does show some competition, I think Sony will keep that in their back pocket. But I think they will hold it as long as possible. We may see a 2021. They may eventually phase out the original PlayStation 4 Slim and knock the Pro down to that price, and then go ahead and say, hey, we're coming out with our next generation platform. And if that happens in 2020, 2021, we may be looking at their next generation CPU and GPU. So, if they were going to release this thing next year, it would definitely be the Ryzen and Vega. But the way technology is moving, I don't know, man. I think we may have the chance to see something even further than the Ryzen and Vega platform.
Yeah, which I think, what was the next one? I got to go back to that. It's a Euronet article. People who don't know, we did a podcast on this. We were this, and again, based on what Richard Ledbetter or Leadbeater said, if he is correct and they do a generational leap, which Sean Layton did confirm, this is what me and Kratos, we did deductive. It is speculation, but we just deduce, okay, if they do generational leap, the next generation of CPU is the Ryzen and Vega stuff. So we have to wait and see. They may go back to NVIDIA. We just don't know what they're going to do. So, Halo Storm's over in the chat going through it. So what's up, JD? but yeah, I mean, it's it is what it is. And the Spider-Man game, now Call of Duty said the Spider-Man game is anti-consumer, which I don't know how it is when Sony owns the intellectual property. They actually physically own the Spider-Man property. So how is that anti-consumer? That's like saying that, I don't know, the X-Men are anti-consumer because they're owned by Fox. Yeah. But let's move on to, did you see the Quantum Dreams thing? These are the people that make one of my favorite games I'm excited about, Detroit Become Human. I told everybody I think this is going to be a sleeper, and goddamn, it looked amazing, but they allegedly fired some shots at Xbox. I'll paraphrase them here, saying like the morning you wake up. Now they pulled the tweet down. It was up for like 2 hours. So, and shout out to BG, because he got this early in the morning. It was on his Brooklyn skill tree. So shout out to him. You all go sub to him. He's the first guy I saw that I'm sub to that put this out. And so shout out to him. But you all go check out his channel. He's got a pretty cool short podcast he does called Brooklyn Skill Tree. But apparently, and I'm paraphrasing this, Kratos, they said something about the morning you wake up and you realize you're an Xbox One owner and can't have this game or something like that. I mean, it was a troll.
Shots fired.
Now, I'll give you my opinion on it first. I didn't like it because to me, developers should be above all this crap that's being said online. It just, it adds to the angst. Like you said, they're in panic mode. We'll get to the overall what we felt about the Xbox One X as far as its reveal. But do you feel that developers in any capacity should be taking shots at other platforms, whether it's Nintendo or PlayStation or, something like that?
Mm-hmm.
What's your opinion on that?
I'm going to tell you this. For some reason, the Xbox guys feel entitled, and they also feel like they're the victims. This generation, they just feel like they're such victims. First is media bias. And then now it's this. The journalists. These journalists should be objective. They should not pick sides. They should, But then you have stuff like Xbox Mad and some of these other Xbox centric guys putting out crazy stuff that just crazy. And these guys cheer this on. These guys, so it's their feelings are really hurt. That's what I found. I really found out. These guys have taken these L's so seriously. They are boycotting developers who will not give the Xbox One X the better version of the game. Let that sink in, Craig. So, if you remember, we're old school gamers. We played on the Atari. So, a lot of these young cats, they started on the 360. But I remember a time when you had Crash Bandicoot sitting outside of the Nintendo headquarters with a microphone, yelling and screaming, "Hey, plumber, come out and play!" Ready,
I do remember that.
With a bat and everything, ready to beat them up. I mean, this was competition. Then you had Sonic, in the whole mix. This is what Nintendo and Sony did back and forth, and Sega got into it. This is what it was. This was friendly competition. This was noise talking and stuff like that. It's just now these guys are so soft. They can't take an L. They cannot take an L with pride and move on. Guys, you have the most powerful console. Enjoy it. Stop whining and crying over this developer and this game and that game. And these people are treating us unfair. And your executives walk around with a microchip in their mouths, touting power and beast. And lies with true 4K and what it can, stuff like that. And you guys just eat it up. But let a developer jab, one of Sony developers do something or this, this guy, says something and you guys are ready to fall off a cliff and boycott and all this fake outrage come out. Get over it. You guys are grown. You're grown man. Pick up your big boy pants. And stick and just stop it. You're playing the victim. Just stop it. I thought the article was very funny. I thought that jab was very funny. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. The guy said when you wake up and realize your console would never ever have this greatness, that's enough for you to say, damn what, you know what, you're right. Let me go out and buy me a platform that will have that game. If you're an Xbox only console owner, why are you refusing to buy the PlayStation? It has games that you can only play on that platform. Why? Why are you refusing to do that? You're depriving yourself of greatness. You're depriving yourself of games. You can't call yourself a true gamer if you don't have all of these consoles. So please, let's stop playing the victim. Let's stop with the fake outrage and boycott of Destiny 2 because it's going to run at, checkerboard 4K at 30 frames. So let's stop.
I can't disagree with it. Apparently, it's buffering again. They're saying so.
Oh Lord!
Well, let me try to get to where it is. Okay. I'm trying to just get to the live part of it because I'm always a little bit behind on it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just try to It could be. Let me.
Yeah, they said it froze me.
Yeah.
And I guess it took my rant down too.
Yeah.
maybe that was me ranting that took it off.
Yeah, now it's actually just the whole screen is froze.
Okay.
So let's see here. Where is it headed to? Yeah, now I just have a green screen.
Well, let's kick it back off, man. Let's kick it back off.
Yeah. Let's see here. We're kicking so many facts, it keeps taking us down. You want me to restart it again?
Yeah. You go ahead and restart it, man. We'll keep this. We'll just have 3 parts.
Yeah, part 3. Yeah. So here we go again. All right, I'm gonna restart it. Let me double check. It did this to me last week.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why it's doing that. So yeah, I'll go ahead and restart it.
Okay.
We'll call it redo part 2. Or part 3.
Yeah, part 3. All right.
Yep. All right, here we go. Oh my goodness.